trauma comes in many forms, you know.
Of course it does.
And the you know, the effect of that on people is long term. You know, I read the studies by Anders and Felitti in the 80s about, you know, they dropped their questions into you know, a mainstream population. This was mainly white, mainly middle class, mainly college educated people with insurance, and he dropped in 10 questions that became, you know, the ACEs questionnaire. And this was, you know, I think it was 1 in 3 or 1 in 25% or 30% of people had, I think it was 3 or more traumas within their background, you know, between 0 and 18 years old. And this wasn't some poor marginalized group somewhere, you know, in the corner of society. This was mainstream society. And so when we look at, you know, demographics where people maybe suffer disproportionately in terms of poverty and hardship, you know, you can see that the potential for trauma might be expanded a bit because of the circumstances, but trauma is affecting us all. And when we start to talk about addicts, you know, as some special breed, it suddenly demonizes people. It turns them into them, it turns them into other, and it means we don't have to be tarred with that brush, if you like. But really, you know, there is no, I think it was, I can't remember who said it, but there is no them and us, it's just us, you know. Yes. And actually, when we deal with people, we're dealing with ourselves. And actually, I take some comfort in knowing that I had my addiction and my behavior, criminality, whatever you want to call it, came about as a result of some of that trauma. I think there was always an element of also pleasure seeking within there, you know. Sometimes that pleasure seeking might just be the stopping of pain. But I also believe that because there wasn't something inherently wrong with me, I could get back onto a different path. I could make changes in my life. So it wasn't because I was genetically disabled in some way. It was because, you know, I could use my choice and get back on track. And I really love that. And I think an added benefit is that my past and that trauma has allowed me to work in the field, and it's, my past has become my future, you know, because I wouldn't change that, because it's given me the life I've got now, you know. I've met you because I left London. I work in the field of addiction, and at some point I came across you, and you know, that's happened so many times with so many people that I really, I kind of think the more we get our stories out there, the more other people look at them and think, just like Natalie did in that treatment situation that you read out, you know, they're doing what I'm trying to do, and maybe they're a little bit further on down that same path, or maybe they're a little bit further back on that track. So I can either aspire to move forward, or I can help someone who's moving towards recovery as well.